So that's the turbine I just put up. I'm just trying it. Trying to get some readings off it so I can compare it. Oh, this is starting to turn a little bit there. It's eventually going to go up on there where there's a lot more wind. You may be able to hear the wind blowing now. It takes a lot to get these things to go. I'm quite surprised. Pretty good gusts. So then down here is just a bunch of junk I got here. Solar panels, the two little guys, that guy and this guy way over here. That's just to charge the batteries. The bigger guys, the three of these, run into the inverter inside. Open here and have a look at my mess. It does need to get straightened up horribly bad. So what these little inverters do, the more sunlight they get, the light will spin and turn. If it sees nothing, it goes to the center light, which is red, and does charge nothing. So what they do, this guy's hooked into the turbine here right now, and of course you see that wasn't turning, so it's not charging anything, and there's not even enough voltage to turn the light on. You'll see the speed at which this is turning. That means the wattage that I'm getting out of it is pretty low right now. And if you want to know exactly how much that is, that would be over here, which is reading about, I'll get the glare off of there, 87 watts, which is what I'm putting back to the grid right now. And of course the other fellow's reading 0 because it's not doing anything. And I'm supposing I got this thing all hooped up here all over the place. Anyway, just to give you an update, so that's running in here, and you can see the mess there. There's 1, 2, 3 deep, 1, 2, 3, and 2 more back there, so 8 batteries. I just ordered another component here. This is the charge controller, and the two little guys are charging there right now, and of course there's no sunlight, so it's only charging at 1 amp. And this is the UPS. There's 6 more batteries over there, 24 volt. These guys here are in 12. So what the other little unit that I ordered does is it controls both of these inverters. It also takes an input of the solar up to 400 watts or 500 watts, I think. Same as the turbine. It also accepts turbine AC or DC, and gives me my outputs. I have 3 outputs, so I'll put one of these on each of the outputs. And what it does is it keeps the batteries topped up first, and after the batteries are up to a minimum of 12.5 volts, after the 12.5 volts, it starts turning the outputs on, which are these guys, and then they'll sell back to the grid. And believe it or not, these things are pretty incredible. Do not ever do this with a regular inverter, because that would be very, very bad. These little guys, grid power 2 tie inverters, what these do, they're daisy chained, and they plug them right into the wall socket, believe it or not. I had a hard time doing that at first. And if you plug them into the wall, actually I'll show you how it works. I'll plug one here just to give you an idea. So what happens is that light goes red because it's seeing a fault right now. So what it does, when you hook this thing back on into the wall, the light will turn green, and then it will start slowly turning. So what it does is it looks at the voltage, the frequency, and it ups it a little bit. The normal voltage here is about 121, 122. So this guy then goes over to this guy. So if I switch it to volts, the voltage is about 123, almost 124 volts. So I get my phone out of the way so you can actually see it. So about 124 volts. And then that way, of course, everybody knows, according to Mr. Ohm, is current and voltage has to go downhill. So what this is doing is it ups the voltage a little bit so I can push it back through. And you can actually take the second one and plug it in right beside it and daisy chain these things together, and then they sell back to the grid. It's the most amazing thing. If you did this with regular inverters, you'd probably burn your house down. Ooh. So that was doing about 80. Of course, it's dark and gloomy outside, so that's why we're not getting a whole lot of wattage. With those 3 big panels, I can usually get about 350 watts back to the grid. It might actually go up here a little bit because the sun is trying to poke through. No, still about 80, 90 amps, or watts. But yeah, once everything's set up here in the next couple of weeks and I get the turbine up the tower, I'm hoping that I can put about 700-800 watts back to the grid on a fairly regular basis here. What I've done here is I got my travel trailer. I'll wander back outside here. Yes, it's still cold here. Look at the snow. You can't really see them, but there's 4 solar panels on top of my travel trailer also. And that comes in through the wall here on a tech cable. And it also charges onto these batteries. So really, I'll be able to do about 800 watts with solar panels, which is a little bit much. But worst case scenario is it'll keep my batteries topped up, which will be very nice. So once I get this organized and get this god-awful mess cleaned up here, I'll try doing another update, because I know I really struggled with this at first, trying to believe that I could actually plug these inverters right into a wall. And the kilowatt, these little meters here, absolutely love them. They tell you your voltage. Actually, I'll give you a quick show here. Okay. I don't know if you can actually see the switches or not. If you want to know actually we'll do it on this guy because it's actually reading something. I can get my phone out of the thingy here somehow, maybe. So if I hit the voltage, it tells you the voltage, tells you the current that we're using, tells you the watts that's going through there, and the frequency, so it tells you 60 hertz. And then last but not least, it tells you what you're selling back to the grid. So that's what we've got here so far today, and it's been an ugly day here. So that's the deal. That's how they work. These kilowatts are fantastic. You plug them into the wall, and depending on what you got going on, it'll tell you your draw, or it'll tell you what you're putting back. So if I was to take a 100-watt bulb and plug it into that thing, it would show me that I was drawing 100 watts. Whereas right now I'm putting back, pretty close to 100 watts again here. A little bit of the sunlight coming out there now. So if I plug the light bulb into that thing, it would probably go to 0 because the inverter would actually start running the light. Anyhow, I'll give you an update later on. This is me. Goodbye.